I want to be clear. I believe that when the last human takes her last breath, the Earth is going to belch for about 50 years, and it's going to be as if we were never here. So I'm not worried about the Earth. I'm worried about us. And that is, I think that climate change, it's just, if you consider yourself a person of science or just a rational person, you just can't ignore the data. And I think 7 of the 10 worst fires in American history have all happened in the last decade. We're getting hurricanes at a greater propensity and intensity. I mean, there's just sort of no denying this unless you've decided, okay, I'm just going to stick my head up my ass because I've decided that for some reason the environment and climate change are democratic values, and I can't ascribe or prescribe to anything that smells of blue. So I think this is something we absolutely need to address. I also think there's a myth that we're going to figure out a way to address this by making a lot of money, that all we need to do is buy Tesla stock, or that there's some engineer at MIT in his senior year or her senior year that we're going to get rich while solving this. I think this requires massive global cooperation, and I think it's going to be expensive. I do think there's some myths, though, and that is a lot of people think that one way to solve it is this nihilist vision of going into population decline, that it's the population bomb problem. In about the 70s, there was this myth started that the Earth was going to collapse under the population explosion or under the weight and consumption desires of an increasing population globally. That just hasn't happened. As a matter of fact, it's a population implosion. 3 countries in the West have gone into population decline: Italy, Japan, and I forget the third. And I think another dozen are about to go into population decline over the next decade. And I would argue that population decline makes those countries less economically relevant, makes their society less productive. People's productivity peaks in their 40s, which means they have to allocate more and more of their budget to taking care of seniors, as opposed to investing in R&D, including how to address the climate crisis. As Bill McKibben, a guest on the pod, said, the two big puffs of carbon into the atmosphere were, one, the suburbanization of America, and two, the industrialization of China. So it's been lifestyle and energy choices that have really driven climate change. That's not to say that population doesn't have an impact. True, it is correlated, but it's not high among the causes. As a matter of fact, the countries that have had the largest population growth over the last 50 years actually have a lower per capita carbon emissions than wealthy nations. So it's really a function of policy, energy, and lifestyle choices. I was on Bill Maher last week and he said, well, we're running out of water. The reason we're running out of water is because we subsidize water to the point where it makes sense to submerge the Central Valley under 2 feet of water. And all this bullshit around don't water your lawn is like recycling, and then it's meant to give consumers the illusion that they're actually doing something or that these government regulations matter. Consumer usage of water is actually a fraction of what agribusiness consumes. And if we priced water to its actual cost, it takes several thousand gallons of water to raise a cow. If we price beef to what it was supposed to be priced at, we would have better outcomes, and water would be if water was priced to what it actually costs, you wouldn't have a water shortage.